Hey everyone, welcome to May's Sweet Temptations, a channel all about baking and brainwashing. Just kidding, there's no baking. Before we get to the baking, I just want to talk to you about something that's a little near and dear to my heart. So I started May's Sweet Temptations as a way of getting free in my life from the struggle, the burdens, and the stress of a workaday everyday job. I wanted to do something that I was passionate about, and something else that I'm passionate about is giving back to the community. So this month, and every month, I will pick one charity to give back to. So today, for my first video, I will vow to you, as a viewer, to donate 90% of the proceeds for this video to the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club do amazing things for the community. This time of year, they donate coats to kids who don't have them, they donate school supplies, and they give mentorship to children who need it. So always great things. So for the entire month of October, some of the proceeds for all of my videos will go to the Boys and Girls Club. So please watch, please subscribe, please like this video and share with your friends and family. But for this first video and the first video of every month, I will donate 90% of the proceeds to the charity of his choice. So this month it's the Boys and Girls Club. Next month, we'll decide then. So thank you for listening to me talk, and thank you for watching this video, and please watch till the end. Hi everyone, and welcome to my small messy kitchen. My name is May from May's Sweet Temptations. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make the aforementioned Sweet Temptations. So they're baked donuts filled with cream. This time we're going to do a coconut cream as a request from our friend Greg. So that's everything we're going to need for the dough right there. So we're going to start by warming up the milk and activating the yeast. Because we're using a dry yeast, it helps your dough to both warm it up and moisten it so that it will better incorporate into your dough later. So what we're going to do, so we're going to microwave the milk for about 45 seconds. So as you can see, our milk is only about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and we want it to be between 110 and 115. So we're going to put it back in the microwave for another 20-25 seconds. Now I see we've gotten to about 120. So this is a little bit warm, but once we add our honey to it, it will reduce the temperature. So I prefer honey for my baked goods because, one, it has a little bit more of flavor to it than a regular white sugar, and two, I can get it a little closer to home, so you can get it made in Canada rather than importing sugar from the Caribbean. Being a little ethically conscious there. You have to make sure you well incorporate your honey into your milk. The sugar in the honey is what's going to feed the yeast and make it grow. This is what puts air into your dough. So you can see there's still some at the bottom there. There you go. It's pretty well incorporated. Then you sprinkle your yeast. And you can give it just a quick stir just to make sure every granule is moistened. Alright. And now we'll leave this for 5 to 10 minutes to activate. We're going to is activated. Now we're going to incorporate all of our wet ingredients together. Alright, so I'm putting this all in the bowl of an electric mixer. Yeah. Unfortunately, my electric mixer is in a corner where you can't get a really good shot of it, so we're going to mix part of it by hand and then we're going to put it to knead in the bowl of the electric mixer. I'm just going to break up the egg yolks before I add them into our yeast mixture. Helps it mix together a little better. And then I'm going to add the salt. So where sugar feeds the yeast, salt slows it down. So you don't want there to be too much air in your dough, or else it'll just kind of balloon and you'll have big air pockets, which we don't want. Alright, and then we're going to slowly add in the flour, working it a little bit at a time. Now you might not need all the flour. Chances are you won't need all of the flour for this recipe. It depends on where you live and how moist the air is. I live in quite a dry climate, so I tend not to need all of the flour in my dough. And after this initial stage, once you start kneading the dough, you really don't want to add any extra flour. That's when your dough gets really dry and tough. So you want to add just enough flour that it turns into a workable dough. It forms a ball. Now this dough is very, very wet, which is why you have to mix it in an electric mixer, because it would stick to your hands if you were to knead it by hand. It's just that much liquid in it. It's that delicate of a dough. Well, you see it's coming together slowly here. Starting to come together as a ball, and make sure there's no dry bits at the bottom. Now when you set the dough in your electric mixer to knead, it will always stick to the bottom of the bowl. That's just the way the dough is. But you want it to come away from the sides of the bowl. Alright, so that's about enough flour there. Now we're going to melt our butter for about 30 seconds in the microwave, and we're going to move this whole shindig over to the electric mixer. I know I kind of crammed in the corner here with the electric mixer. I'm having to reach around the camera stand to do anything, which is not great. Alright, so we're going to set it on low here. Now we're going to start adding in our butter. Now you can add the butter in when you add the liquid as well. You don't have to knead it in this way. In fact, I usually put it in the other way. This is kind of an experiment to see how well it kneads in afterwards. It's a French technique usually made for brioche. When you add in butter, usually it's not melted though, it is solid room temperature butter that you'll use. And just scrape the bowl, make sure there's nothing left in there. Once your butter is in the bowl with the dough, you let it continue to knead until it's fully incorporated. Once the butter is fully incorporated, you can turn the speed up on your electric mixer and you'll let it knead for about 8 minutes. And while you're doing that, you can do other things. You can go on Instagram if you want to look up pictures of Loup. He has his own hashtag, #Loup of the day. And then at this point you can see that the dough is started pulling away from the sides again, but it's still sticking to the bottom. This is about ready to pull out. To transfer it into a clean mixing bowl, grease the bowl with butter or nonstick spray before you put your dough in there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to proof our dough in the oven. So proofing is to let the dough rise in a warm, humid area. You can do this in your own oven if you put a bath of boiling water under your dough. Make sure that the dough is elevated so it doesn't get cooked by the boiling water. Oh boy, how'd you feel about the snow? Not great? A little sleepy? Oh yeah. Hop up. Hop up. Hi. There you go. Good job, bud. Should we give you a treat? Oh, there's a dog nose smudge on my camera lens now. You want a treat? We give him rawhide chews. Hop up. Yeah, there you go. Hop adder. So these are all the ingredients you're going to need for your cream filling. We're using a pastry cream, coconut cream recipe. The same kind of coconut cream you would use in a coconut cream pie. So what you do for the thickening agents, you use 4 egg yolks and a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. You'll mix those two together, make sure there are no clumps so it makes a nice smooth cream filling later on. After you've done mixing those, you can leave those on the counter while you warm up the milk and coconut cream. You can use coconut milk if you'd like. I find coconut cream just gives it a hint more nuttiness. And it does give it a little bit more of a velvety finish because it is all coconut fat. But if you want less fat, you want it to be a little healthier, then you can use coconut milk. Make sure you combine the 2 milks and the sugar in a saucepan and you will let it come to a boil on medium heat. This could take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure you stir occasionally. Stirring your milk will help the temperature rise evenly, come to a boil, and avoid clumping or curdling of your milk. After it comes to a boil, and then you're going to temper your egg mixture. So tempering brings the temperature of your eggs up to the same temperature as your milk. The slow rise of temperature is necessary because if you rise the temperature too quickly on your eggs, they will scramble, so you'll just have scrambled eggs in milk, which is not what you're going for when you want a cream filling. I use a ladle to slowly drizzle the milk into the egg mixture and whisking all the while. You can also just pour from the saucepan if you have strong arms. You want to whisk continuously so you have no clumps. And once that egg mixture is up to temperature, once you put about half of the milk mixture or more into the eggs, you can do all of it if you like, you'll transfer it back into the saucepan. You can lower the temperature just slightly to below medium heat, and you'll continue whisking constantly until the mixture comes back up to a boil. At that point it will be thickened. Once it's thickened, you're going to add your butter, 1 tablespoon at a time, and whisk continuously until it's completely melted into the cream mixture. After that, you're going to add your flavorings, so 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract. And you're going to continue to whisk until it's completely incorporated. Once it's incorporated, you're going to have to transfer it into a container to put it into the fridge. It needs to cool completely before you fill your donuts with it. To avoid a skin from forming on the top of your cream, you're going to take a piece of cellophane wrap and you're going to press it to the top of the cream. And then you're going to put it into the fridge. At this point, your dough is probably risen. So you can see that our dough is doubled in size. And now we're going to form our buns. Alright, so there are 2 ways to shape these donuts. First, let's flour our surface quite generously. We don't want things sticking, we don't want to stick. And punch down your dough. Get that air all in there. That was satisfying. Alright, so there are 2 ways to shape your dough. One, you roll it out, you cut it with a circle die cutter, anywhere between 2 inches and 2.5 inches. 2 inches is a nice size. It'll make a donut about yay big when it's finished. Always good. Or you can shape it by hand. Squeeze a little ball off and shape them by hand into nice little donut shapes. And these are cream filled donuts, remember, so we're not cutting any holes in the middle here. We're just baking a bun and then filling it when it's done. The buns I made this time were about 90 grams each, which is much larger than I would recommend making them if you want a snack size donut. I would go for maybe a 40 gram to 60 gram ball. If you want to fry these donuts, you absolutely can. I bake them because they last longer that way, and we're a household of only 2 people, so we absolutely will not eat them all when they're fresh. If you fry a donut, the oil tends to seep into the donut the longer it sits. That's why if you go to, you know, Tim Hortons or any kind of Dunkin' Donuts, the longer the donuts have sat there, the worse they taste. If you bake your donut, even if it's a day or two later, it will taste just as fresh, especially if you microwave it for 10 seconds and you've kept it in an airtight container, it will taste just as good as when you first made them. Alright, so there's our first pan. We're going to put these back into the oven to proof. And grab our second pan. Alright, so these are our donuts after proofing. We're going to brush them with a little egg wash. So egg wash is 1 egg beaten with about a tablespoon of milk. This one I used for pies that I made just yesterday, so I'm gonna use it again today. And you brush egg wash over them to get that nice shiny crust. If you want a buttery crust, you can do a butter wash. If you want just a regular looking bun, you can use a milk wash. Just gives you a matte finish. But the only thing that gives you that nice shiny, like a pretzel finish, is an egg wash. Now these are going to be massive donuts, a lot bigger than I usually make. But this was the first time I tried the pinching method for forming these. So I'll know for next time to make much smaller ones or go back to my regular roll and cut method. Tried and true always works. You'll bake these donuts at 375 for 12 to 14 minutes until they're golden brown on top. Now for these, you have to make a hole that we can put the piping tip into later. So you want it to go, the hole to go roughly to 2/3 of the way in. So this is my marker on my blade for my previous attempt. You can see how small the other ones were compared to these ones. So this will take about the whole blade. So you go about halfway into the bun and just slide the blade into it. And you do this for each and every one of them, so that there is a place to put the filling in later. This one's a little smaller. Yeah, these are going to be monstrous buns. There you go. Now the other batch is still in the oven, so when those come out, we're going to do the same thing to that. Now I was filling these donuts at about 4:30 in the morning. So that's why I have no sound for the filling. what you're going to do is you're going to locate the hole that you made earlier, and with a long, thin filling piping bit, you're going to push it all the way into the middle of the donut and then squeeze until the donut feels about full. The pressure of the cream will push your bit out. Try to take it out about a quarter of an inch before the end of your donut, because the pressure of the donut itself will squeeze some of the cream out, so leaving a bit of space will keep it from spilling out of your donut. And you'll repeat the same process for every donut. Sometimes it is hard to find the hole in the donut. Give yourself a break. Just feel around, you'll find it eventually there. You don't want to make a second hole because it just gives the cream an opportunity to escape your donut. So to make the glaze, it'll take about 2 cups of icing sugar to completely glaze all of your donuts, and somewhere between a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of milk, however much you'd like. The thickness will depend on what you prefer, and then whatever coloring or flavoring you'd like. Try not to put too much flavoring into your glaze. You don't want it to overpower the flavor of your filling or your donut. I had to remake my glaze about halfway through, and I made it thicker because it holds the coconut flakes better with a thicker glaze rather than a thinner glaze. If you want to keep a thin glaze and you want to put sprinkles or coconut shavings onto it as well, you can let it sit for a moment and then put the coconut shavings on, so it'll stick better and it won't run off of your donut. So when you're glazing your donuts, you're just going to dip them into the glaze, let some of the excess run off of the donuts, or shake it off if you prefer, and then you can go by hand and just press the coconut shavings onto your donut. The coconut shavings, I did toast my coconut. What you do is you put it in a dry frying pan at medium heat and you let it start to brown. Make sure you move the coconut around fairly often because it will burn fairly quickly. So if you want an even browning, make sure you're almost constantly moving that coconut around. And just to show you how early in the morning it was, that's Lou's sad little face. Yeah, he was pretty cozy on the couch there. Well, hello there. Welcome back. It's day 2 of coconut donuts. Yeah. So I finished these at about 4 o'clock this morning. I didn't get them done last night because the cream filling hadn't set completely yet. Time to break one of them open. Get a nice cross section in here. Now it's white cream in a white donut, but you'll see there's a nice cream center, a good amount of breading around it, no big air bubbles anywhere. Mmm. Absolutely delicious. Hi, bud. You want some? Lou's come for his breakfast. Huh? Breakfast of champions? Not for you, bud. Not for you. And the coconut cream isn't too heavy. Nice light sweetness to it. A good earthy nuttiness from the coconut cream that we melted into the milk. Bud. Oh, you really want some? Are you sure? Are you sure you really want some? And I did add some flaky coconut into the coconut cream to give it a little texture as well. Mmm. Altogether, a delicious donut. And wash it down with my third cup of tea of the day. Hey, bud, bud? Yeah? You want to be part of this video? We broke out the Jack Skellington mug this morning just in time for Halloween. King of Halloween. Can't be missing Halloween. And he'll stay out until after Christmas because it's a Christmas movie. Jesus. So let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. I do have some fun ideas for our next project. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for tuning into my first video. This was a learning experience for sure. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon.